Acha, how many of you have taken prelims before? Okay, like most of you right here. Fine. So for those who has taken prelims before, this is the test of your temperament, and this is self-evaluation, that what could have gone wrong earlier that you are not going to repeat here again. Because basics you are, I suppose, since you have taken prelims earlier, you are through with basics. This is the test of your mistakes where you are going wrong. And for those who are beginners, for them this is a learning process. Through this sectional and then comprehensive test, you are learning small things and you are building your knowledge base, right? So depending upon your experience, your level of understanding, you take this exam. Fine. So straight away we begin our discussion. Question number 1. With reference to characteristics of natural vegetation in India, consider the following statements. Trees are found in the warm and humid areas. Second, the mean annual temperature is about 22 degrees Celsius. Third is annual rainfall is above 200 centimeter. So is this clue is not sufficient to find out the answer? Because if rainfall is above 200 centimeter, it has to be evergreen forest, right? So it is very simple and straightforward question from your physical geography of India. By the way, for this exam, sources are standard NCERT sources: physical geography of India, human geography, economic geography, current affairs from February 2019, right? And there are some added resources, I will tell you depending upon the questions, that which you have to refer. Apart from standard atlas, how many of you use Oxford College Atlas? Yeah, you can either go for Oxford College Atlas or Orient Longman Atlas. Because for geography paper, particularly Indian geography, at least there are 2-3 questions related to your mapping. They test your visual memory. We will see that when it comes to wetland, tiger reserve, national parks, rivers and their tributaries and peaks. The recent trend is they are asking cities based upon longitudes. Like there was question which one is on the same axis, like Nagpur, Bangalore, which was a tricky questions. It could be very easy questions if you are thorough with your mapping part. Fine. Fourth option is, fourth statement is rosewood, ebony and mahogany are important species found. So these all are characteristics of tropical evergreen forest. See, the tropical moist deciduous forests, they have annual rainfall 100 to 200, dry 70 to 100 centimeter. Fine. Second question, which of the following geological event is not associated in shaping the present drainage system of peninsular India? This is peninsular India. Subsidence of the western flank of the peninsular block. ये कह रहा है कि it goes down. We'll see. Second is subsidence of the northern flank of the peninsular block. This northern flank. Third is slight tilting of the peninsular block from the northwest to southwest direction. इस तरह से, मतलब ऐसा है तो ऐसा slight tilting है. Because of tilting, most of the river flows to Bay of Bengal, right? So tilting तो है ही है. So what about the subsidence of northern flank of the peninsular block? Since this block moves, when it was part of Gondwana land, it moves to the north, but there Himalaya rises. So that is why this subsidize. There is subsidence of this block. जैसे जैसे नॉर्थ तरफ जाता है, आगे से हिमालय ऊपर आता है, तो इसको नीचे जाना पड़ता है. So subsidence is there. Plus subsidence of western part also. So western part till Western Ghat, there is a subsidence, and to the west of Western Ghat The plains, the plains are lower than the plains of eastern coast. The coastal area is lower than the eastern coast. That is why there are natural harbors in western coast of India. So is it clear or not? Northern plank is there is a subsidence of northern plank. There is a tilting of this plank, this entire plateau, and there is a subsidence of western part. But coastal area is not, there is no subsidence of coastal area. Coastal area are parallel to the continental shelf. That is why ships can straight away come to the coastal area. That is why there are natural harbors in west coast, be it Bombay or other parts. There are more harbors in west coast. ठीक है? Is it clear or not clear? See, it is straight simple. It is given in NCERT also. If still you have doubt, you can talk to me, right? Third question. Consider the following. So the answer is D. All the above are associated. They are asked not associated, but all phenomena are associated with peninsular block. Third question. Consider the following about an Indian river. It is the largest tributary of Indus. What are the tributaries of Indus? Which are the tributaries of Indus? Yeah. Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas, Satluj. Right. This is known as Chandrabhaga. So there are two streams, Chandra and Bhaga. When they join, it becomes Chandrabhaga. So Chandrabhaga is another name of Chenab. It is formed by joining of two streams of Tandi near Kelong. Tandi is Himachal Pradesh. Those streams originate in Himachal Pradesh, so they joined there. So this is, the answer is Chenab. It meets Indus in Pakistan. ठीक है? Yeah, this is also one of favorite topic of UPSC. You need to know all the major tributaries of all the river, particularly Indus, Brahmaputra, Godavari, Krishna. Their origin and the point of confluence with other river, if there are any wetlands, if there are any tiger reserves, national parks through which they go, plus the areas, the point where they meet to the ocean or sea. Okay? If they have deltas or if they have other any geological structures. This is core area of UPSC. This or that way, they are going to ask you about rivers. Okay? Earlier they used to ask about rivers of world, but now they don't. They ask particular rivers of India. 2 years back they asked the tributaries of Godavari. I think 1 year back they asked the origin of Narmada, which not Narmada, Krishna, I think Krishna or some other river, but they ask, this is their favorite topic. The fourth question is, consider the following statement. First, the westernmost point of India is located in the Lakshadweep island. Is it or is it not? See, Lakshadweeps are somewhere here. So this run of Kutch is westernmost. This point in Sar Creek, run of Kutch is westernmost. The easternmost point of India is situated in Assam. Yeah, it can't be Assam, right? It is Arunachal. Because Assam to yahan pe hai na. This is Assam and Arunachal is this part. The latitudinal and longitudinal extent of India is about 30 degree. So yahan pe you need to know this fact. There is no way that you can measure if you don't know the fact. So this is basics in our 9th class NCERT, first or second chapter. Latitudinal longitudinal extent of India is 30 degree. So only option 3 is correct. Right. Even if you know, if you do not know whether option 1 or 3 are 1 is correct or not, you can eliminate these questions, the options by process of elimination. How? Because the easternmost point of India is situated in Assam. So this is incorrect. Right. So option 1, B, option A, B and D वैसे भी eliminate हो गए. Is it not? But this is for those who have already taken prelims. I mean, you don't have to know everything then. Some sort of smart work is necessary. Fifth, which of the following are the adverse effect of shifting cultivation? 1, loss of forest produce. 2, accelerates soil erosion. 3, increases siltation of tanks and rivers. 4, invasion of weeds into forest. See, there is a trend of UPSC giving long statements. This is not thumb rule, but generally those ambiguous statements, they tend to be correct, because UPSC don't go into much details, like they don't want to trick you in this way that if they are given 5-6 statements and those ambiguous questions, normally they are correct. You will see that if you go through all UPSC question papers. Unlike MPSC, right? MPSC, what your instinct says, it goes opposite to that. So loss of forest produce. So first, tell me what is shifting cultivation. Normally it is called as zoom in some part of India, and in different regions of the world it is known by different names. So forest land is cleared for agriculture purpose year by year. So that is why there is a cut down of trees. There are forest fires also. And there are so many adverse effects also. Right. So loss of forest produce is there, yes. Accelerates soil erosion, yes, because you are clearing soils. See, unexplored land, you are using it for the agriculture production. So there is a soil erosion. It is bound to happen. 3, increases siltation of tanks and rivers, because after rains and all those things will fill the tanks and rivers. Invasion of weeds into forest. See, untouched forest, now you are going there, you are using it for the agriculture productivity. So it is bound to happen. So option C is D, all the statements are correct. This was a simple question, इसमें किसी को doubt नहीं होना चाहिए, right? Sixth, this is from current affairs. Consider the following statement about Bharat Ranga Mahotsav. First, it is the annual International Theatre Festival of India organized by National School of Drama. See, if you have gone through current newspaper, you would have known this, because presently this theatre festival is going on in Delhi. Right. So option A is correct, because it is organized by National School of Drama. It is an apex institution in India that works for drama, theatre and art. जो जितने भी टॉप के आर्टिस्ट हैं इंडिया में, लाइक बिग अनुपम खेर, इरफान खान, ऑल दोज people, they came from NSD. NSD gives rigorous training for your artistic skills. जितने भी पीरियडिक ड्रामाज है, क्लासिक आर्टिस्ट है, दे ऑल कम फ्रॉम NSD. ठीक है. It was established 2 decades ago to stimulate the growth and development of theatres across India. So it is very difficult to know whether it was established 2 decades back or 1 decade back, until and unless you are someone who is related to NSD or Bharat Ranga Mahotsav, because otherwise even if you read the current affairs, you don't see, because UPSC is not that type of exam where you need to know all those facts in detail. You need to know the facts in detail about geography, static part of geography, static part of polity, economy, and then history. Current affairs, only science and tech part you need to focus, because UPSC generally focuses details about science and tech. It takes keen interest in science and tech, be it prelims or mains, particularly current discoveries, current innovations, current happenings. There was a question in 2018, they asked about Bose-Einstein condensate. So any non-science student might tend to ignore those things, because it is not that easy. Even I am a BTech from NIT Warangal, so I was surprised to see the question when I was writing that paper. But this is a hallmark of UPSC. There are certain core areas of UPSC. So you focus more on more details of science and tech from current affairs, and science from basics. Basic NCERT till 9th class. You don't have to go for 10th class also. Physics and chemistry. Biology, you read current affairs things. Because anyway, biology is not that much favorite topic of UPSC. If you see the recent question paper, fine. But you need to focus more on current discoveries. For example, Nobel Prizes. Or is there anything that is contributed by Indians? Because there is a topic in mains also, contribution of Indians in the field of science and technology. So you make notes of those things from current affairs also, from the newspaper also, and any standard resource of current affairs. So coming back to the option 2, so if you are sure, you can go with these 2 decades, but in general, you can see this is 50-50, right? You know the first option, you don't know the second option. So you should go for a positive instinct. Right, unless and until your gut says no, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, so then you don't attempt these things. This is thumb rule in UPSC. Always go with your first gut instinct. If you think more, you are bound to make a mistake. Just go with your gut feeling and gut instinct. Right. Anyway, those who knows this was established in 1999. So option C is right. Both 1 and 2 are correct. It was established in 1999. This is 2009. So roughly 20 years, 2 decades ago. Question number 7. Consider the following statement about Swadesh Darshan scheme. This scheme was quite there in the news. Number 1. The Tourism Ministry had launched Swadesh Darshan scheme. So this is right. Second, its objective is to develop theme-based tourist circuit in the country. So they have planned to develop 15 theme-based tourist circuit. Eco-tourism, you know, to promote ecotourism, you want to promote adventures. So there are different themes. You don't have to know all the themes, but you should know what it is all about, done by whom, and probably when it was started. Or is there anything interesting about it? Particularly UPSC is interested about the target group and the ministry or institution associated with any schemes. If the schemes are related to agriculture, you need to study in depth. UPSC tend to ask even specification about particular areas, how many hectares, how many rupees, how many families. Insurance and agriculture schemes, you should know in depth. Right. Second is its objects, it is covered. Third, these tourist circuits will be developed on the principles of high tourist value, competitiveness and sustainability in an integrated manner. ठीक है, ये क्वेश्चन तो सबको सही लगेगा ना. See the wording and language, everything looks fine, है ना. इसमें अगर तुम डाउट निकालोगे, तुम्हें लग रहा है ये सही नहीं है, तो you are going in a wrong track, right? Is it not? थर्ड तो ये ऑब्वियस हो जाएगा. The answer is D, 1, 2, 3. 8. This is again straight away from NCERT. Which of the following criteria are used to declare heat wave based on departure from normal? नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर से ज़्यादा अगर कितना होगा तो उसको हीट वेव बोलेंगे या सीवियर हीट वेव बोलेंगे. डिपार्चर फ्रॉम नॉर्मल इज 4.5 to 6.4 degree Celsius. That is heat wave. Severe heat wave departure from normal is greater than 6.4 degree Celsius. The option is C, both 1 and 2. Consider the following statements with respect to northern plains. Number 1, the largest part of northern plain is formed of new alluvial khadar. See, river comes from hills region to the plains and they deposit their composition. So we call that as a Bhabar area. Then they disappear and they reemerge in Tarai region. So I am explaining this phenomena vertically. We are not looking at the locations which are the regions. The Bhabar, then comes Tarai, then comes the new fertile soils, the alluvial plains. It is divided into two regions, Bhangar and Khadar. So Bhangar is old or new? Old one. The new deposits are Khadar. So they get regenerated and renewed each time every year. That is why they are very fertile. And the old soil that is formed is Bhangar. It is not that fertile in comparison with Khadar. Bhangar is made up of calcareous deposits called as Kankad. है ना? You should also know कि from east to west, which are the regions where there is a Tarai are dominated, where there is a Bhabar plains, there are alluvial plains. You can go through the NCERT part, that is straight away given which are the areas, what is the latitudinal and longitudinal extent of these northern plains, and then also the crops, rivers that flows goes through these plains. So the first the statement is the largest part of the northern plain is formed of new alluvial called Khadar. No, it is formed by new alluvial or old alluvial? Old one, because new gets regenerated all the time. Next year, what is new now? Next year it is old. जो भी जितना भी depositions river ले आती है, so every time it gets regenerates. So cumulatively old soil का ज़्यादा composition होता है comparison with new soil. So this is old alluvium called Bhangar. सबसे ज़्यादा किसका है? The largest part of northern plain is formed of old alluvium called Bhangar, not new alluvium called Khadar. Second, the Khadar is not suitable for intensive agriculture. No, it is suitable. It is most suitable because soil is new. So that makes it is more fertile. Third one, the river streams disappear in the Bhangar belt and re-emerge in the Tarai region. Right. So it is Bhabar region, not Bhangar region. But I am very sure that you are bound to make mistake. And most of us are bound to make mistake in exam, because in exam they not only test your knowledge, they test your temperament as well. We will talk about temperament as further we proceed. I mean, I would say in my personal opinion, UPSC is prelims particularly, which is the most toughest space. You would know. Mains is not that tough, even interview is not that tough, because it needs it takes consideration of so many other things. In mains, you have essay part, you have your optional part, where you can score tremendous marks. In interview, it all depends upon your personality and luck, so where you can score very good mark. But point is prelims. This is the first hurdle and it is one of the toughest. On the face, but it could be an easiest. So I have cleared 6 prelims straight away with a high margin. But before that, to begin with, we had a solid foundation there. So it might, if you miss the right track, if you miss the particular perspective about cracking the prelims, so it may take longer time. But if you know what are the ingredients, then you can do it in a, even you have less amount of preparations, or even you have given less time, you can crack it easily. Less time is like 1.5 years is sufficient. So more time you are giving, it means that you are losing the track. Right? It might sound odd because UPSC is not all about having more knowledge. Right? Me and many of my friends, like I faced 3 interviews. Some of us have faced 4 interviews. Still हमें लगता है कि अभी भी पढ़ना बाकी है. But UPSC has rejected, right? So it is not about more knowledge. It's about your temperament, your smartness. How can you generate new ideas? How can you generate knowledge from the little study, little preparations you have done from very standard and useful resources? That is why a 20-year young kid gets top rank. Then someone who prepared for 7 or 8 years even fails to crack the prelims. Right. So you guys are, young and you have just started preparations. So keep this in mind that in less time you need to do a smart work. Right. So now for those, like I said in the beginning, those who are new, this is for your preparations, the test is, but for those who have already taken prelims, it is more about your smart work. You go through the options, you eliminate the options and you get the right answer. You don't have to know everything. Believe me, geography is so vast, even geography optional student fails to crack the prelim geography question because sometimes they ask very tricky question. So 50% preparation and then 50% should be your smart work. Smart work also needs a lot of energy, a lot of confidence, a lot of proper gut feelings, and that comes after studying enough amount of time and after preparing or after solving enough practice tests, mock tests, and devoting enough amount of time. Right. We'll see that as and when we process. So option is not correct, they have asked. So option is D. Right. Question 10, saddle pick. Yes, saddle pick. Now all of you have the answer key, so that is fine. Saddle Peak is North Andaman, Mount Diavolo is Middle Andaman, Mount Koyab is South Andaman, Mount Thriller is Great Nicobar. See, there is one book you write down, The Geography of India by Periyar Prakashan. Those who do not know, पता है आपको? Yeah. So those who do not know, please buy this book. Still you have time. There are go through selected topics from this. I would suggest the rock systems, the minerals and resources system, and some GK topics like national highways, some facts about India, and plus mapping part. You will see that in first 2-3 topics they have given mapping of Andaman, Nicobar, Lakshadweeps, and some of the Himalayan regions. This is also a standard book, particularly for geography of India. The option is D. 11. What is the correct sequence of occurrence of the following passes as one proceeds from east to west? Yes, east to west. This is very UPSC type question because 2018 they have asked peaks, mountain peaks from east to west. Right, Kanchenjunga and Nanda Devi and all those things. Yeah. Bumla. So where is Bumla? Arunachal Pradesh, right. Dipu, that is also. So what is the exact location then? Yes. Suppose this is Arunachal. Yes. See, Dipu Pass is a tri-junction of Myanmar, India and Tibet and China. And where is Bumla? Yes. सिक्किम के बाजू में, बट थोड़ा ज़्यादा बाजू में सिक्किम ये. हाँ, near to Bhutan and Arunachal Pradesh, but it is a pass between Tibet, China and India, Tawang region. There are two passes, Bomdila and Bumla. Right, जब 1962 का वार हुआ था तो they came from Bumla and Bomdila. सो ये कहीं पे यहाँ पे होगा तवांग रीजन में. एंड खारदुंगला, यस खारदुंगला लद्दाख में, राइट. एंड नथुला, दैट इज सिक्किम. चाइना एंड सिक्किम इज नथुला. इट्स वेरी फेमस पास, राइट. So this is Nathula and this is Khardungla. So the correct sequence is 2, 1, 4, 3, right? Dipu Pass, Bumla, Nathula and Khardungla. You should know all the passes. From last 3-4 years they are not asking pass, but this is standard preparation areas. Passes, river system, their tributaries, all the mountain peaks, all the national parks, tiger resources and wetlands. Wetland is important from environment point of view as well. The importance of wetland, their regions, the rivers in the wetlands, particular favorite animals in the wetlands, their geographical locations as well. यहाँ से you bound to get questions in all the part equally. घुमा फिरा के यहीं से ही क्वेश्चन आते हैं. That is why Indian geography is very easy. So is world geography. Difficult हो सकता है तो sometimes they make it polity difficult or history might be, but geography is always easy. Right. Next, with reference to Western Ghats, consider the following statement. Number 1, the Western Ghats are comparatively higher in elevation and more continuous than the Eastern Ghats. Correct or not correct? Yeah, correct. Because the average height is 600 meter of Eastern Ghat and here 900 to 1600 meter. Second, the average elevation is about 1500 meters with the height increasing from south to north. This is Western Ghat. तो हाइट नॉर्थ टू साउथ एलिवेट होती है ना. जैसे हाईएस्ट पीक कहाँ पे है? हाँ, हाईएस्ट पीक इज इन साउथ, नीलगिरी अन्नामुडी. नॉर्थ में तापी के नीचे जहां से स्टार्ट होता है वेस्टर्न घाट, उनका हाइट कम है. सो हाइट इंक्रीजेस फ्रॉम नॉर्थ टू साउथ. यहाँ पे एलिवेशन अगर तुम्हें पता भी नहीं है तो यू कैन टेक इट फॉर ग्रांट, मतलब अगर नहीं पता तो दैट इज फाइन. नेक्स्ट, दे स्ट्रेच फ्रॉम रिवर तापी अप टू कन्याकुमारी, राइट. सो यहाँ पे ऑप्शन 2 नहीं है, रेस्ट आर फाइन. सो 1 and 3 इज द करेक्ट ऑप्शन, ऑप्शन बी. 13, with reference to the glaciers in India, consider the following statements. Number 1, the maximum development of glaciers occur in the Pir Panjal range. So is it correct or incorrect? So where does the maximum glaciers occur? Yes, Karakoram ranges. Pir Panjal is pretty much in south of J&K. Most of the glaciers, apart from most of the glaciers of non-Arctic region in the world are found in this region, Karakoram range only. The highest, the largest being Siachen glaciers. Bispher, Diapho and all there are glaciers in Karakoram range only. Karakoram are trans-Himalayas. Himalayas तो उनके नीचे है ना, हिमाद्री, हिमाचल and Shivalik. These are 3 main ranges of Himalaya. Trans-Himalaya, beyond Himalaya is Karakoram ranges. So Siachen glacier is part of Karakoram ranges. Next, Siachen glacier is situated in the Nubra valley. Is it situated? Yeah, just you can take it, it is situated in the Nubra valley, but it is just not to the Nubra valley. But that is fine, this option is fine. Next, Gangotri glacier, the sources of Ganges is located in the Kumaon Gadwal region of the Himachal. Kumaon Gadwal region of the Himalayas. So is it correct or incorrect? Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. They want to check two things. Do you know the origin of Ganges, or what are the regions in Uttaranchal, Gadwal and Kumaon regions? So this, see, Yamunotri, Gangotri, Kedar and Badri. These are four important places जहाँ से the streams flows through and at one point of confluence Ganges forms, Ganga बनती है वहाँ से. So these are four important places. That is why they are places of pilgrimage also. Culturally they have taken as places of pilgrimage. Fine. So Gangotri also comes in Kumaon regions of Himalayas or Kumaon regions of Uttaranchal. We will see the streams that comes from these areas, and at the name of their confluence and the main stream they forms, and in the end when does the Ganges forms in Haridwar. We will see that because there is another questions ahead. So option is B. 14. This is direct factual questions. So this can be found in your India Yearbook also, or part of your current affairs. Consider the following statement about National Board for Wildlife. It is a statutory organization constituted under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Second, its role is advisory in nature. Third, primary function of the board is to promote the conservation and development of wildlife and forest. See, third is very obvious. Second, you need to underline the advisory word. See, whenever you read the question, underline the keywords. UPSC is sometimes very tricky. First, whether they are asking if they are asking correct or incorrect. Second, asking take extreme words. Extreme words such as all, only. No, these are extreme words. Words like this, because they tend to check your alertness of your mind as well. So always underline these words. So is it advisory in nature? From your common sense of knowledge, there are very few bodies where they are not advisory, they are constitutional bodies. Their studies is very much bounding. Government is bounded by their research studies or their suggestions. There are very few bodies like Supreme Courts and other institutions, parliamentary committees and all. So this body, so might see in common sense approach, this body is not the study of this body is advisory only. It might not be a compulsory or bounding body, right? The first is, it is a statutory organization constituted under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. ये आपको पता होना जरूरी है कि ये कब हुआ है. So if you have read through your environment notes, it is there. नेशनल बोर्ड ऑफ वाइल्ड लाइफ के बारे में डिटेल में बताया गया है, तो उससे थ्रू आपको पता चलेगा कि ये कब बना था, किस एक्ट के अंडर बना था. फाइन. तो ऑप्शन डी इज करेक्ट. 15. Consider the following statement VVPAT machines. First, the voter verified paper audit trail is a method that provides feedback to voters. VVPAT क्या है? See, there are allegations. आपको शायद सबको पता ही होगा. How many of you have actually voted? Yeah. Fine. The rest of you who has not voted yet, maybe you can do it later. But ये तो टीवी पे देखा है, and this is important topic from mains point of view as well. Last year they have asked these questions because there are allegations and doubts over transparency in electioneering in India. So in order to remove those doubts from the mind of voters and from the opposition parties, in order to make our democracy more transparent, the process of election more transparent, they have the election Election Commission of India has started using this voter VVPAT machines. The machine shows you actually to whom you have voted, and it shows you for a few seconds, 7 seconds and all, and then it automatically distracts the paper. आपने एक बटन दबाया, फिर नीचे एक पेपर आएगा, उसमें दिखाएगा कि आपने किसको बटन दबाया, और फिर वो पेपर डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाता है और फिर डस्टबिन में चला जाता है. सिंस आपने वो देख लिया कि आपने किसको बटन दबाया, तो यू आर सेटिस्फाइड कि मैंने जिसको बटन दबाया वो उसी को गया। क्योंकि ये ऐसा क्यों किया? क्योंकि देयर वर न्यूज कि आप कि कोई भी बटन दबाओ वोट तो बीजेपी को जा रहा है। ऐसे न्यूज थे कि नहीं? बीजेपी को और XYZ एनी पार्टीज को। सो इन ऑर्डर टू रिमूव दोस डाउट, नाउ देयर इज thought of simultaneous election and all, those are for your mains point of view important topics. But there was 2018 there was question in mains, what is government of India or what is Supreme Court or what is Election Commission of India is doing in order to bring more transparency in elections of India. So this is part of it. Second point is it is an independent verification printer machine and is attached to electronic voting machines, right? It does not allow voter to verify if their vote has gone to the intended candidate. No, it allows, because that is the purpose. So option A is correct, 1 and 2 only. 16. With reference to forest in India, consider the following statements. 1. Diverse vegetation ranging from the tropical to tundra is found in the Himalayan ranges. Yes, it's very straightforward statement. Second, the temperate forests in the Nilgiris are called sholas. Yeah, it is also there. This statement is given in NCERT. Question is from standard NCERT. Third, the deciduous forests are absent in the Himalayan regions. So, which is not correct, they have asked. Third, because on the foothills of Himalayas there are deciduous forest, wet deciduous forest, and also in Jharkhand, Meghalaya and other regions. So D is the answer. 17. With respect to the Arabian Sea branch and Bay of Bengal. So Indian monsoon is also important and favorite topic of UPSC, particularly from physical geography of India. Monsoon, river, Himalayan ranges, important peaks and mapping part. Now they have started asking the cities, roads and all those things. But this is core part, monsoon. With respect to Arabian Sea branch and Bay of Bengal branch of monsoon entering the Indian land masses, consider the following statements. 1. Arabian Sea branch is much more powerful than the Bay of Bengal branch. Number 2. Arabian Sea branch is divided into 3 distinct streams while Bay of branch is divided into 2 distinct streams. What about statement 1? Most of the rainfall comes from Arabian Sea branch. There are 3 divisions of Arabian. One is Kathiawar branch, Central, and then Malabar or Western Ghat. Right. And this branch goes there. This is Bay of Bengal branch. आपको पता है कि ये जब गारो, खासी, जयंतिया हिल्स में जाने के बाद एक ब्रांच तो वहाँ पे रहती है और एक ब्रांच टर्न हो जाती है इधर। जो टर्न होती है उसी की वजह से दिल्ली में बारिश होती है। इनफैक्ट इट गोज टिल दिल्ली। यहाँ से बे ऑफ बंगाल ब्रांच जाती है और एक नॉर्थ ईस्ट ब्रांच बन जाती है और एक टर्न हो जाती है। बिकॉज ऑफ दैट देयर इज अ रेनफॉल इन ईस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया। सो अरेबियन ब्रांच से 3 डिविजन्स होते हैं और बे ऑफ बंगाल ब्रांच से 2 डिवीजन होते हैं। दिस इज मोर पावरफुल बिकॉज मानसून बस्ट इसी ब्रांच से शुरू होता है। देयर इज अ मोर रेनफॉल इन वेस्टर्न घाट्स और वेस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया एंड इट कवर्स लार्जर पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया। सो ओवरऑल रेनफॉल इसकी वजह से ज़्यादा होता है, राइट। सो व्हाट इज द करेक्ट आंसर? ऑप्शन सी, बोथ। ये शायद अगर एनसीईआरटी में भी इसके डिटेल्स नहीं होंगे, किस डिवीजन क्या क्या है, नॉर्थ ईस्ट बे ऑफ बंगाल ब्रांच का डिवीजन, नॉर्थ ईस्ट ब्रांच एंड मेघालय ब्रांच, इसका फिर वेस्टर्न घाट ब्रांच, सेंट्रल ब्रांच एंड कठियावाड़ ब्रांच, बट इट इज़ देयर इन पेरियार। सो यू जस्ट गो थ्रू दोस थिंग्स अगर इसमें कहीं नहीं है तो। 18. Which of the following city lies north of Tropic of Cancer in the map of India? This is really, I would say, one of the tricky question. किसका किसका सही हुआ है? हैव यू ट्राइड? सही हुआ है, दैट इज गुड। मे बी लक ने भी थोड़ा सा हेल्प किया आपको। ऑफ कोर्स आई एम नॉट डाउटिंग योर नॉलेज बट दीज आर वेरी ट्रिकी क्वेश्चन। एजवाल, रांची, भोपाल, गांधीनगर, दे ऑल आर जस्ट बिलो। अगर आपने ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर के बारे में अच्छे से पढ़ाई किया होगा तो आपको पता होगा कि इसके नॉर्थ और साउथ में कौन सी सिटीज है। फ्रॉम हाउ मेनी स्टेट्स इट पासिस? 8। हाँ, इतना तो आपको पता होना है। व्हाट आर द स्टेट्स फ्रॉम वेस्ट टू ईस्ट? वेस्ट में क्या? गुजरात, देन राजस्थान, देन यस, देन यस, हाँ, and does it passes through Tripura or not? Yeah, it does passes Tripura. So 8 region. So this Ranchi, Bhopal, Gandhinagar are just below the topic of cancer, and the Aizawl is just above the topic of cancer. But UPSC has started asking this type of question from last 2-3 years. Right? ऐसे क्वेश्चन आपको अटेम्प्ट करने ही करने हैं. Use some elimination method. Use some knowledge, some hearsay, some knowledge that you have learned from this understanding or this study or that study, and you should attempt these questions because there are great many chances that you would get correct answer, provided it is based upon your gut feeling. Don't try to work out. जितना ज़्यादा सोच के आप करोगे आपका यूपीएससी में तो गलत होगा. I mean, this is from my experience and experience of so many people. Next, 19. With the reference of Kayals backwaters, consider the following statement. They form a distinguishing character of Malabar coast. Malabar coast are plains in Kerala, right? So this statement, number one, they form a distinguishing character of Malabar coast. Yes, this statement is correct because they are formed in Kerala only. You have seen those backwater boating races, snake boat races and all. Every year the famous Nehru Trophy, Vallam Kali, is held in Punamadakayal in Kerala. This is also correct. This is given straight away in NCERT. What are the backwaters? Creek के type होते हैं. So the water from sea goes to the mainland regions. So these are distinguishing features of Malabar coast. So these are favorable for boat races because you are not completely taking boat race in the open sea. Your water is protected from the both sides from the land, so this is safe for boat races. And I think these races are every day getting more famous and famous. Some celebrities, I think Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli, someone is also involved in this boat races. So option C is correct. 20. Consider the following pairs. Number 1, Guru Shikhar Peak. Yes, it is in Aravalli region, right? Second, Barak. Yes, Barak river. This is a river. So is it part of Patkai Boom? See, Patkai Boom is the range of eastern Himalayas. Himalayas in northeast. So Himalayas northeast तक आते हैं यहाँ तक. हम लोग जनरली हम लोग कांचनजुंगा तक पढ़ते हैं. उसके आगे जितने भी हिल्स है अरुणाचल में, फॉर एग्जांपल डाफला, मिरी, अबोर, मिशमी, वहाँ से फिर एक सिंक्लिकल टर्न आता है हिमालयस को, जहाँ से ब्रह्मपुत्र इंडिया के अंदर आ जाती है दिहांग नाम से. वहाँ से हिमालयस टर्न होते हैं, मतलब हिमालय के ज्योग्राफिकल फॉर्मेशन वर्टिकल है. फिर वहाँ Patkai Boom, Naga Hills, Manipur Hills, Mizo Hills, they are part of Himalayas. ऐसे ये तो नॉर्मल हिमालयस और यहाँ पे ऐसे. और बाकी के जो भी रीजन्स है, दोज हिली रीजन्स, दे आर नॉट पार्ट ऑफ हिमालयस. देन नॉर्थ ईस्ट में जैसे कि मेघालय में गारो, खासी, जयंतिया, these are not part of Himalayas. Kachar Hills, Shillong Plateau, they are extension of peninsular plateau. जो भी छोटा नागपुर प्लेटू है हमारा वेस्ट बंगाल झारखंड में, उसका एक्सटेंशन होके वो प्लेटू उसका एक्सटेंशन ही है ये सारे हिल्स, बट दीज आर पार्ट ऑफ हिमालयस. इट इज क्लियरली गिवन इन एनसीईआरटी, आप एक बार पढ़ लेना. सो बराक रिवर इज इन मणिपुर, नागालैंड, मिजोरम एंड आसाम, राइट. नोक्रेक पिक, यस, नोक्रेक पिक किस रीजन में आता है? मेघालय में आता है. सो इट इज नॉट बरेल रेंज. बरेल किस स्टेट में आता है? हाँ, बरेल आसाम में आता है. आई जस्ट टेल यू. So these are Garo, Khasi, Jayantia. This is Mikir and this is Barel. है ना? This is Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. This is Patkaibum, Naga, Manipur, Mizo. Right. So Nokrik comes under Garo Hills. So option A, one only.